Are you living a life that truly aligns with your core values, or do you feel like something's missing? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing on how to align your life with your core values, whether it's freedom, sustainability, or health, and start living authentically. Hello, good evening. My name is Tiffany, and welcome back to my channel. I empower women to embrace their best selves through personal growth, health, and sustainable living. So today I'm going to walk you through how I have aligned my life with my core values and how you can too. I want to start off with the first section. What are core values? So let's define what core values are. Core values are the principles that guide your decisions and shape your life. They're the non-negotiables that should influence everything from your career choices to your personal relationships. My core values are freedom, sustainability, and health. And really, they are at the heart of everything that I do. And whether that's from surfing or building my business or being intentional with friendships, what I spend my time on, freedom, sustainability, and health are my non-negotiables. So I want to explain why aligning your values matter. The consequences of not living in alignment with values. When you're actually living out of sync, out of alignment with your core values, you will likely, maybe you've already felt this, you will feel unfulfilled and misaligned, like maybe something is missing. I want to share how then you can identify your core values. There are 3 steps here. Step number 1 is to reflect on what matters most. So I encourage you and invite you to reflect on what are your top priorities. And whether you do this by journaling or whether you meditate or you just take a short, brief amount of time to really think about what truly lights you up. Is it freedom? Is it health? Is it connection? Is it impact? Is it surfing? Is it gardening? Is it whatever it may be? I really invite you to bring some awareness to what are your top priorities and non-negotiables in your life. Step number 2 is to identify patterns. So I definitely suggest that you reflect on this, or you can write this down, but look back at key decisions in your life. When were you actually the happiest? And when were you actually feeling misaligned? So there are always going to be clues then with the different situations and past experiences that you've had. Like, look at how you got to those different situations. And maybe it was a situation where you're like, wow, this was really amazing and I'm so happy. I'm so glad I did this. Or maybe you can look back and think, that happened and maybe next time I'm not going to make that decision. Step number 3 there is to narrow down to 3 core values. Now, you may have many things, actually, a whole long list of things that you value. However, I want you to identify what 3 core values are. So this really helps you to focus then on what truly resonates with you. And after this reflection, after you narrow down your list of your 3 core values, allow them to be your non-negotiables for you. I guess for me, in the last couple of months, I will share from my own personal experience. Maybe in the last 3 to 4 months, I've been in, I would say, like a quantum leap, like a very different phase of my life. And I realized that I need to be not only creating clarity around what my core values are, but I need to reflect that, are these values, are my non-negotiables, my core values, are they giving me the freedom to surf, to travel, to create impact, to live with intention and integrity? Am I living in a sustainable way? And I needed to really focus on, is the way that I'm living day to day, is my vision, is everything that I'm showing up for, is that in alignment with my core values and ultimately my bigger goal, my big vision. And what I did realize is that there were some situations and circumstances and people and things where I felt that I was misaligned. And I'm grateful that I've been able to reflect on that, and I've been grateful to now shift and direct my energy and my focus, and then obviously taking inspired and aligned action in living in alignment with my values and my vision. And this is definitely what I invite you to do as well, is to really reflect on your own life and to identify and define what your core values are. And then to allow yourself, is this giving you the freedom and the excitement and the enjoyment and the contentment to be living in alignment with your values and your visions, those core values? So I want to follow on and share about aligning your life with your core values. Now, for me, I've become really clear with 3 of my core values, and they are freedom, sustainability, and health. So let's break this down. Freedom. So define freedom. So freedom for me, in my definition, is living life on my own terms. It means having the time and space to do what I love, and whether that's going to be surfing, creating content, sharing intentional time with friends, choosing to be in intentional, authentic relationships, not situationships with men. Freedom means being able to impact and show up on a deeper level with some purpose and meaning. For me, if freedom is one of my core values, I've had to ask myself, just what I was following on before, is does my current lifestyle allow me the flexibility that I need to thrive? And am I building my life around what truly gives me joy and purpose? And just to be, again, personal, for me, sharing how aligning with freedom has now impacted my decisions when it comes to creating content online, building my business online, in sharing time with friendships, sharing time and investing my time with things that actually bring me joy and help me feel fulfilled and happy and excited, and that I feel like I get energy from and that I don't feel drained from. And that's really having the freedom, right? Is to be able to have the choice to be living life and working on your own, living on your own terms and working on your own terms, and doing life on your terms because you chose it, not what others have said. So number 2 is sustainability. So let's define sustainability. So sustainability isn't just about being eco-friendly. It's about creating a life and work style that's both personal and globally sustainable and financially sustainable. So I had to ask myself, and how I've been able to align is, am I making choices that support both my well-being and the planet and others? And how can I integrate sustainable practices into my lifestyle and work style? And whether that's through a plant-based diet, which I am, whether that's supporting an eco-conscious, sustainable brand, and whether that's being involved with working and creating in a professional and financial way that is sustainable as well. So I want to share how sustainability, it is a core part of my lifestyle and my work style. When it comes to my lifestyle, I use certain products that are sustainable for not only my overall health and wellness, but also which contribute to the greater collective of our planet. And then also sustainability, the way in which I creating content and the way I am now beginning to market and build my business and my brand and my income online, I am really focused on having sustainable practices that honor my needs, my time, my energy. And then also sustainability when it comes to, and this is a huge thing, sustainability. We all don't live forever. So we're only here for a finite amount of time. And if I've had to look at the ways that I'm showing up and living my life, because I'm in my 40s, I'm not in my 20s and 30s or my teens anymore. And of course, like I'm not yet in my 50s, 60s and beyond. However, I've had to look at the certain ways in my social style and my lifestyle and the way that I am investing then my time socially and with just overall my lifestyle. Is that sustainable? Is that sustainable in allowing me to move forward in other areas of my life? And is that sustainable in myself aging with grace and beauty, right? Like one of these things is, if you drink every single day, is that going to contribute? I mean, and I'm not saying like if you have like maybe one glass of wine a day, and I'm not judging your choices. I'm just trying to refer to, in reference to, I've had to really look at my practices and how I invest my time and my energy in the way that I live, because I desire to age with grace and beauty and vitality. This is of course leading on to health as my core value. So for me, health is so much more than just physical wellness. Health is really from the inside out, your energetic, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual wellness, right? If we look at health, it's a holistic perception. And it's about having the different areas of your energetic body, right? Mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, like all the different areas, like looking at this holistically, are they in alignment? And so I've really had to prioritize, and this is following on from what I was sharing about sustainability, I've really had to prioritize my mental, my physical, my emotional, my energetic, my spiritual well-being. And I've had to create awareness and start to let go of some things and some people and move forward in adopting new practices and different things so that and different habits so that I can integrate and implement a way that I'm going to be living that is going to be in alignment with aging with grace and aging with vitality and aging with, with beauty. And that comes obviously from the inside out. Of course, we also want to look good on the inside. But really, if you look at like your organs and the inner workings of your actual being, like, am I actually feeling aligned and alive and present and grounded and, feeling vibrant, I guess, and having a sense of vitality and aliveness? This is where you will have heard me if you've been following my channel for a while. Health has always been a huge part of my life and it's a core value. And you will have heard me share that I'm very much attuned to and plugged into daily my meditation practice, a yoga practice. I have a plant-based way of eating, as well as having vegan, ethical choices when it comes to consuming certain products and other practices in my life, right? Like all of these actually contribute to me living a holistic, healthy, balanced life. And, maybe it's for you, you're not into yoga. Maybe it's like Pilates or maybe it's golf. But there should be things for you, which I've obviously allowed myself to be very consistent over, decades now of practices and things that I do that really allow me to show up and be the best health and be living, the most well, healthy, and vibrant life that I can. You have likely noticed in your life when you're feeling a little bit off. And so I want to share about how misalignment affects your life. So, signs that you're out of alignment, right? So I'm sure you have been through times in your life where there are significant emotional signs of misalignment. Now, this can be you're stressed, you're frustrated, you're burned out, you're depressed, you're tired, you're foggy, like mental clarity, foggy, you're like a little bit confused, you're just like scattered, right? Like these are definitely clear signs that you're misaligned. And here's the thing, when you're not living in alignment, you're gonna feel like uninspired. You're gonna feel unmotivated. You're gonna feel tired, right? And I'm not talking about like, oh, you just like, you know, maybe you've been up all night because you have a baby and you had to feed your baby. Like, of course, you're going to be tired because of that. Like, that's a natural tired. Maybe you just surfed, you know, 10 to 15 foot waves and you're tired after a 4-hour session. Yes. But I'm talking about if you find yourself and you're like tired, uninspired, and you're unmotivated, and you're just like going through the motions, right? Like, these are significant signs that you're not in alignment. Another clear sign is that if you are comparing yourselves to everyone else and everything else around you, and you're just trying to like keep up with the status quo, you're like, oh, right? Like when you're like having to like keep up and you're like constantly comparing yourself, like you are probably likely not living in alignment. And so I want to share again, you know, if I get really honest, I can definitely see that up until of recent, of course, like life goes up and down like this, right? But I can see where there have been phases and situations where I'm not in alignment with my values and how it has definitely impacted my well-being. And I'm super grateful that, and I've shared about this in other videos if you've been following my channel, that there's only so many coffees and lunches and dinners that I can do. And there's only like so many times like I maybe just like hanging out with like people and even like men, and I'm just like, you know, living like the Bali lifestyle, like, you know, and there's only so much like, you know, like not really doing anything. And I don't judge anybody else for anywhere that anybody else is in their lifestyle. I just know for me, in my own awareness of where I was at, that, you know, up until a few months ago, I was just like, you know, and to be honest, I had my burnout like almost 12 months ago from my business. And it's only been in the last, you know, 3 months where I've been like, okay, like shifting gears, where it's like, I'm wanting to be living life with a little bit more direction and meaning and purpose, that I want to get to the end of the year and think, oh, I achieved something, instead of just like, oh yeah, I just surfed, or yeah, I went to some great restaurants. Don't get me wrong, I am addicted to surfing and I love good food and good wine and going out, but there's got to be a balance, right? And when you're not in alignment, you will likely feel that, right? Like, unless you're really numb, and that's something else to unpack. Like, sometimes they say, right, like ignorance is bliss. Like, maybe you're not even aware that you're out of alignment. There are many people that aren't aware, and you know, but likely you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, yeah, I really want to change my life. I'm feeling a little bit off with this and that, right? This is obviously a message directed at you. So coming back to, I've been able to really shift my focus to now like building my brand, my income and my business around the practices and the direction of my core values, which are sustainability, freedom, and obviously health. And it feels really good. It feels really good. Okay, let's move on to step number 3, because I'm not sure if that just recorded. But stay committed to your vision. Now, there's an exercise that I can link the video that I already have up here. However, there's the exercise in the book, you've probably heard of it by now, called Ikigai. And it's a Japanese, and it's around, you ask yourself these 4 questions. What do you love? What does the world need? What can you get paid for? And what are you good at? And then when you answer these, you know, certain questions, it allows you to really come to what your mission is, what your dharma is in life, and why you're showing up, giving you deeper purpose. And when you actually get really clear on that vision, right, you'll find that living authentically and in integrity, in alignment with your core values and your vision, it's incredibly powerful and empowering. And it's so key to stay committed to this vision, right? Have the end in mind, right? Imagine that you already have your wishes fulfilled. Imagine that you're already living the manifestations and everything that you've been creating from before, and then you're in it. That's a powerful place to be. So when you keep your vision in mind and you take inspired and aligned action in small steps, and it compounds over time. And then you look back and you think, wow, I fucking did that. I fucking created that. Look at, here I am now. Because that's the place where you're working towards, right? And of course, we definitely divorce the results. We fall in love with the process, but it's empowering when you actually are like moving in alignment with those values and your vision. And so by aligning your values and your vision and taking those intentional choices every day, I mean, that's really working towards working and living towards creating and manifesting, really a life that's beyond and really extraordinary. So I just want to recap that aligning your life with your core values, it really is the key to living authentically and finding fulfillment. And again, what your values are and what your vision is and what your needs are and how you are living, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It doesn't matter also what others are doing. Like, quit the comparison thing. Get really clear with what those core values are for you. What are those non-negotiables for you, right? And then when you are clear with your own core values, please share with me in the comments what you've been able to discover or unpack. I really would love to start a conversation about how we can all together start to live a more authentic life, an extraordinary life. So I thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope that you have found some value and some vibe. Subscribe for more. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Again, leave me a message in the comments, or you can send me a message on my socials. Otherwise, follow me for more content on aligning your life, living sustainably, and building a healthy, fulfilled lifestyle. Thank you so much, and see you next video.